Hello, it's a me, itzanowski, and today I want to talk about what metal as a subculture even is, and also the future of metal as a genre. Is metal dying, or is metal already dead? Or, is it currently in rehab and will come back stronger than ever? The answer to all of these questions is no, for real. I have some thoughts and I want to discuss them with you. Let's start with the music. But how does one measure how well music is doing, a whole genre of music, and even a subculture? Well, for music, there are things like music charts or sales, and of course, these charts are usually dominated by music that is literally called popular music, so pop. But still, I think you can see certain trends, and pop is just shaped by what's around it, basically. Going way back, there was a lot of rock music in the charts, so stuff like glam in the 80s, grunge and new metal in the 90s, and then emo and pop punk in the 2000s. And yeah, comment down below what your gateway music to metal was. For example, emo. Now, regardless of whether you liked all of these genres or popular bands, they were popular and they had mainstream success. And I think that's the problem. Mainstream and metal doesn't go together very well for many fans. Listening to the most popular bands makes you a poser, in their opinion. So yeah, go and watch my How Not to Be a Metal Poser video for more on that topic. So I'm generalizing a lot in this video, but metal fans love to gatekeep. They love telling everyone which bands play real metal and which fans are just posers, or, generally which people don't belong. And to be honest, I think this is very unique compared to other fandoms or subcultures. Of course, you'll always have people comparing, how much bigger of a fan they are, of some artists. And I'm sure there are Swifties out there, like showing everyone their Spotify Wrapped stats and telling everyone how they have every single vinyl variant. But I haven't heard anyone gatekeep pop or hip hop as a genre, quite in the same way as we do with metal. Now, of course, especially mainstream pop doesn't really have a subculture tied to the music, that is defined by specific morals or anything. But, even looking at something like punk, it's not that gatekeepy. I mean, sure, you have something like classic punk rock, but I'd argue that as long as the music has the same attitude and, follows the same ideology and morals, you can call pretty much everything punk, or at least punk adjacent, without people losing their minds over it. But that also means that many fans don't view something like pop punk, especially artists like MGK, as real punk because he might have a similar sound or style, but that defining political side of it is missing. And that got me thinking, what's the ideology of metal, or what defines the subculture, apart from the extensive gatekeeping? Is it a love for loud music, beer, the occult, morbid stuff, long hair, camo shorts, leather boots, and, a battle jacket? Looks wise, it's hard to say because there are many different subgenres and cultures with very distinct looks. So a stereotypical thrash metal fan will look very different than a black metal fan, or someone who listens to folk metal. And I think one of the uniting factors here may in fact be the band tee or other band merch like those patches on battle jackets. And I've also already talked about those topics on this channel, so watch that video. But I don't know, is it simply wearing the color black? You see, I find it difficult to exactly nail down what a metal fan looks like. And these looks also evolve. And again, even if there is an aversion to trends, we're all influenced by them in some way. And I think some of you might already be down in the comments saying, well, but metal is so much more than just fashion. Yes, of course. But what is it for metal? I mean, of course, first and foremost, it's the love for metal music. But again, there are so many subgenres that can sound vastly different from one another. And I think, what is extreme or heavy can also be very subjective as well. So, instrument wise, traditionally you'd have drums, bass, guitar, and vocals. But there are also more and more electronic influences, or even the inclusion of special traditional instrument, for example in folk metal or something. So I don't think it's that straightforward. And early in the video, I mentioned punk and how there is a certain political stance behind that. And, people identify with that. And if an artist in their music aligns with that, they are welcome in the punk community. And I've already seen a couple of hip hop acts at punk festivals because their lyrics would also fit right into a punk rock song. And, people were just vibing with it and enjoying these shows. I also already made a video about how, keeping politics out of metal sucks and why I think it doesn't work. So also go and check that out. But yeah, I agree that there is not one central political ideology or moral values or anything that define metal like there is with punk. And when I was thinking about this whole topic, actually, I had the following thought. So the metal subculture feels kind of individualistic without that, very strong and distinct uniting factor. And therefore, I was wondering, is this why gatekeeping is so popular? Because if everyone just thinks in terms of their own preferences and, not like it's a community, is this a reason then? For example, if I liked, let's say, black metal the most, only wore black, behaved in a serious way, and you'd never catch me smiling, at least outside, and I were to meet a pirate metal fan, drunk, spilling beer everywhere, wearing a kilt, having a good time, I, in this imaginary scenario, might not like this other guy because he'd be quite the opposite. And I might say something like, this is not true metal. Why? Because it is not what I like. Sure, technically it might fall under the umbrella of metal, but in my world, I decide what's metal. I am metal, and that guy is not, because he's not like me in any way. I don't know, is this too far-fetched, or, would you say there's some truth to this? To this focus on the individual, or at least, that very distinct group, their desire to define themselves and others, and, therefore gatekeep. This individualism, is quite the opposite of having a community. So this brings us back to the metal subculture, ultimately being about music, but as I already said, metal is a genre with many different subgenres. And I want to use this video to share my thoughts and have a discussion with you because, as you see, I don't have the answers here. So actually, I want to share another hypothesis that I have, and it's that I feel like, what's metal is also determined by how long something has been around. Even once hated subgenres like new metal are getting far less hate, I feel, today, because especially to younger metalheads, that stuff is now already old too. So if something successfully sticks around long enough, it will become accepted. On the one hand, I think that this is, natural human behavior, but on the other hand, the downside is that newer subgenres and styles are often mocked for a very long time before they become accepted, just out of habit and unwillingness to change, I guess. And examples that come to mind are things like metalcore or deathcore in general, but I don't know, also trap metal or, just in general artists and bands that just have a different look or more diverse band members. And I think there is a tendency to shit on everything that is new and exciting just because. And not everything that is new and different is for everyone and has to be liked. But if you only repeat what has been done before, the music becomes more and more stale and boring, I guess, in the worst case. And, there is so much to try and many topics to explore and feelings to express and things to say. Like, let bands do their thing. In the beginning of the video, I also asked if metal as a genre and subculture is dead. Personally, I think metal as a genre isn't dead. There are many people who love this music, older stuff and also newer stuff. But I do worry about metal as a subculture. Because if the defining part of the subculture is gatekeeping, that's, kind of lame and uninviting, especially. People who like to gatekeep won't care about this aspect because, it's not their individual problem. But for people who are looking for, a community and, people who get excited to see other metalheads and don't judge the other person's band t-shirt right away, first thing. And, people who want to welcome more people in the community and experience the joy of music together, that sucks. And in my opinion, if less and less people feel drawn to the metal subculture, they might also feel less drawn to listening to the music at all, less drawn to, going to shows, to buying merch and supporting artists. And, then themselves might prefer to make different music altogether, instead of dealing with all this negativity. And I know this sounds dramatic, but I also kind of think it is. At this point, I feel like my channel is about trying to make metal fans, metalheads, more open minded and advocate for less gatekeeping. And I think humans crave community, so let's build one based on the music we like, accepting people, even if their favorite band is not our own fave, even if someone is just a baby metalhead. And, even if the person in question is a woman, a queer person, trans person, whatever the color of their skin. Yes, I'm getting really woke here right now. But yeah, let me know, what do you think about this? What is the defining factor of the metal subculture and what will happen to it in the future? By the way, I have a few cool video ideas, but first I will be on vacation. Bye! Bonus cat time! Chico, say hi! Look at this foot! Bye!